everyone, and welcome to our course overview regarding the tax practitioners course. In this session, I'm going to take you through what you should expect from this training. For starters, the course is made up of three major modules. We have the income tax module, we have the value added tax module, and then the customs management module. Our training helps you to understand the IFRS, which is the new information management system implemented at URA. So for purposes of this training, mainly there are three modules, meaning that the IFRS will be an add-on and a bonus to you as you join this training. So what could have prompted us to come up with this course or training? We wanted to come up with a course with the overall aim of enabling you to have that basic knowledge on taxation, especially taxation in Uganda. And our training covers all the aspects of tax, including the hands-on skills that you need in handling all the tax tasks of an enterprise. And of course, in our training we use real business scenarios. Now, the learning outcomes, we do believe that at the end of this training you will be able to explain the different forms of taxation for individuals and organizations. You'll be able to compute the different tax liabilities for individuals and corporate bodies. You'll be able to have an in-depth knowledge and understanding of the practical concepts and principles of income tax returns. You'll be able to solve practical income tax problems which draw on the interaction of different income tax business processes. You'll be able to have the ability to examine the various line items of income tax returns. You'll be able to file various tax returns of income, VAT, and customs. You'll be able to use the IFRS, which is the new tax management information system. So our course, as I've mentioned, is divided into modules, and the very first module we are going to discuss today is the income tax module. So I'll briefly take you through exactly what we shall cover under income tax, and of course, as part of our coverage, we shall look at the introduction to income tax, and under this we shall look at the meaning and scope of income tax. We shall look at the resident and non-resident persons. We shall look at the URA, registration, payment, motor vehicle stamp duty, e-services, and also move into the registration of taxes in Uganda. So that will be covered under Unit 1. Then Unit 2, we shall move into the taxation of employment income, and of course shall look at the taxable employment income, Section 19, subsection 1. We shall look at the tax exempt employment income, Section 19, subsection 2. We shall look at the determination of tax liability for employees, which we of course always referring to as the pay as you earn system. We shall look at the preparation and filing of payee returns. And of course, one of the skills you're going to develop here is the skill of preparing an accurate payroll for an organization. And the good news is that I'll be using real live information. I'll get a client, I'll look at the appointment letters, and then we shall look at the ledgers and accounts, and we shall be able to extract out amounts and of course the figures that ought to be included in our return. We shall feed those figures in a payroll and be able to come up with a net pay and all the deductions, the statutory deductions that are allowed under the Act. Then we shall proceed to Unit 3. Under Unit 3, we shall cover the presumptive tax, and of course we shall look at the meaning and scope of presumptive tax. And those who know this, this is the tax for small taxpayers. We shall look at the presumptive tax rates, the turnover bundles. We shall look at the tax registration for presumptive tax. Here we shall be able to use the URA portal, and we shall go through and navigate the URA e-services in regard to presumptive taxpayers. We shall wind up the discussion with a presumptive tax e-return submission procedure, and here you'll be able to appreciate how to file a return for presumptive tax in case you get a client who is under this tax regime. In Unit 4, we shall move into the taxation of property income, and under that you'll be able to appreciate the taxation of dividend income, the taxation of interest income, the taxation of royalty income, annuities, and natural resource payments, and of course we shall wind up the discussion with the taxation of rental income. In all cases, you'll be able to appreciate the filing of a return for dividend, interest, royalty, natural resource payments, and rental income. As a tax practitioner, this is a very important area, and of course we do appreciate this, and that's why you see that we have included all this in our training. Then finally, unit number 5, we shall now look at the taxation of all those taxpayers who are assessed on profits. Remember, I talked about the small taxpayers who are assessed on turnover. Now unit number 5 will go into a larger discussion on business income, and of course here we shall emphasize the deductions against business income. We shall be able to look at the deductions allowed, section 22 up to section 38. We shall be able to look at the capital deductions. We shall be able to look at the deductions not allowed. We shall be able to look at the return submission procedure. So basically that is the overview of the income tax training. As regards the introduction to income tax, which is our unit 1, there are a number of things that we are going to discuss. Of course, we shall begin that discussion by understanding what is income tax, and in a few minutes, this is a very wide discussion, but I'll try to use just a few minutes to take you through exactly what you should expect in the tax practitioner's course. So to start with, we shall begin by understanding what is income tax. Now remember, I've mentioned that income tax is just part of the training, part of the modules that you're going to have. So income tax basically refers to the tax that is imposed on a person's taxable income. Now what we mean by this is that any person having taxable or chargeable income for the year of income is supposed to pay this kind of tax. Now imagine, you can imagine the potential that is out there. Several people would want to know how do they arrive at their tax liability. So you as a tax practitioner, you have a lot of work to do out there, assisting several businesses in arriving at their taxable income. So in the training, we shall go through the legal framework of income tax, and of course, as you may all know, income tax is administered under the Income Tax Act, which is Cap 340. We shall be able to navigate through this act and be able to acquaint ourselves on the different provisions in the Income Tax Act. I'll be able to bring out all these provisions so that by the time you move into the practice, you do not have a lot of complications. Our discussion will again move into the imposition of income tax, which is as per section 4. We shall be able to explain all this, how the tax is imposed on the taxpayers. We shall be able to discuss the chargeable income, which is section 15. We shall look at the meaning of chargeable income, look at the different elements of chargeable income. We shall be able to move into section 17 subsection 1, which is gross income. We shall have a full discussion on gross income. I'll make you understand what gross income is all about and how to arrive at the gross income of a person. We shall of course look at the implication of gross income when it comes to resident and non-resident persons. We shall look at the interaction of resident and non-resident persons. We shall talk about a taxable person, and of course we shall derive our meaning from section 2 of the Income Tax Act. Our discussion will again move into the resident and non-resident persons. Now, as you can see on my screen, I'm having my friend John. Now, by looking at John's race, does it mean John is resident or non-resident? We shall move into that entire debate. You shall enjoy the debate. You shall be, of course, seeing the fact that the resident and non-resident status of a person does not really depend on race. We shall look at the number of things that will make someone resident. We shall, of course, cover issues of resident status of a person, and you'll be able to appreciate you as a tax practitioner, that your client can actually be a resident in 1 year and non-resident in another year. We shall be able to look at the nature of resident, individual, company, partnership, trust, and all corporations that you will come across as a tax practitioner. For resident individuals, we shall look at the different tests that are conducted by URA in determining whether someone is resident individual or non-resident individual. We shall look at the first test, we shall look at the second test, we shall look at the third test. On top of that, we shall of course support that foregoing discussion with a very nice hands-on activity of Okelo and Okumu. So we shall determine who of the two is resident between 2018 and 2020. We shall move into issues of a resident company. We shall look at some of the issues you need to consider in determining whether your client, who could be a company, whether your client is resident or non-resident. We shall look at issues of resident trust, different provisions by the law, what makes a trust a resident trust. Look at a resident partnership, that is section 12. Look at the different issues that are brought out by the law when it comes to determining whether a partnership is resident or non-resident. Again, what you need to know as a tax practitioner, very important, is the year of income. We shall look at the meaning of normal year of income, fiscal year of income, substituted year of income, and also the transitional year of income. So I guess really you can see that this is very in-depth discussion we are going to have. And of course, one of the first practical activities we are going to do is the registration of income tax in Uganda. We shall look at what is a TIN, and of course, you as a tax practitioner, you'll appreciate the fact that in most cases your client will need to understand what is a TIN before they may subscribe for one. We shall of course look at why your client or you as a tax practitioner, you may need a TIN. There are several benefits for having a TIN. For example, if you want to import or export goods within and outside Uganda, you'll need a TIN. If you want to claim tax benefits that accrue to you, for example tax refunds, you'll need a TIN. You'll of course appreciate the fact that for you to access a bank loan for amounts above 50 million, you will need a TIN. You'll appreciate the fact that for you to acquire a license from any government agency, you will need this TIN. And definitely for you to register a motor vehicle for the very first time, you need a TIN. And as you can see, we need a TIN in case you need to process any land transaction in Uganda above 50 million. That TIN is very important. So you'll find that very many people, very many enterprises, individuals do not appreciate the need of a TIN. They do not want to go into that process, but the process is not all that tedious, and this is one of the activities we are going to have hands-on on how you can actually assist your client in obtaining a TIN, and also to be able to bring it to their attention the importance of a TIN, their rights as a taxpayer, their obligations as a taxpayer, and so on. So some of the URA services that we are going to use from time to time are several. We shall of course make use of the registration of taxes e-services. We shall make use of the payment URA e-services. We shall look at the motor vehicle e-services, and also be able to look at the stamp duty e-services. Now of course, as I mentioned, this is a hands-on. We shall be able to interact and navigate around the URA portal. I'll make you of course realize some of the self-service facilities that are available at the URA portal. So with that, I wish to really invite you to join this training. Do not hesitate. So as I had promised you, I'll be able to give you an insight into Unit 1 so that you can see how we deliver this training. So with that, I wish you all the best, and I wait to receive a response from you. Do not of course hesitate. If you have any question about how you can make the payment, about how you can have your training done. Let us know which time that you have so that we can see how we can fit you into our training program.